Greetings, all my viewers. This is an impromptu video that I'm doing today, and it's got good news in it. You're going to get a sneak peek at what's coming up in 2023. I spent a few days in Melbourne this past week, and during that time I was communicating and met with Rabbi Cowan to put in place some plans for a Noahide conference in Australia next year, February next year. The dates will be from February the 5th to February the 9th, 2023. So there's the big news scoop. So as I said, this is just a sneak peek at what we have discussed thus far, and I will update you all with videos as more information is available. Now, this conference will be held in Melbourne in Australia, and we are looking at naturally the people of Australia, New Zealand, the Asia Pacific, etc., but really anyone who's interested. We're not narrowing it down to just one area. But the purpose of this video is to just give you the alert that this conference has been set, the dates have been set, and the venue has been set. So there is some final tweaking of the conference days and the programs, but I can tell you what we've planned so far is action-packed, and you won't be disappointed. So now, this conference will be under the auspices of the Institute for Judaism and Civilization, and that, of course, is under the guidance of Rabbi Dr. Shimon Cowan. So, and he has been extremely helpful and willing, and has single-handedly really set down a really good master plan for this. We have to tweak a few things and finalise certain things, but as I said, I wanted to give you the heads up that this conference is going ahead regardless, and to give you a little bit of information. So, when I travelled to Melbourne last week, I stayed at the accommodation that the conference will be arranging for the delegates that attend. And I can tell you from the accommodation point of view, I was extremely helpful. There goes my cat. The cat had separation anxiety while I was in Melbourne. He's coming back to normal now. Never mind. So as I said, this conference program has got many things of great interest, and we thought about questions that people are asking all over the world, and we're going to try and address those things. And we have also made some preliminary planning for some extracurricular activity, perhaps in the evenings, the nights, and that again will all unfold. When I know for sure what's happening, I will let you know. I'll give you news updates. But the big news is there is going to be a conference, Melbourne, Australia, February 5th to 9th, 2023, Noahide Conference. Now, Rabbi Cowan has a website, incidentally, and there will be information, no doubt, uploaded onto that, and as time progresses and gets closer. And also on my own website, I'll create a conference page too, just to add some things in there or duplicate what Rabbi Cowan's doing. Rabbi Cowan and I'll discuss that later. But at as the time is now, it's definitely going ahead. So now, what you may like to do, because we will need to have some idea of numbers, although we've anticipated a figure in our mind, it would be good to know if we could get some expressions of interest. Now, that's not binding you in any way. No money changes hands. No, you're not held to anything. But if you think you would be interested in attending this conference, please email me, and my email address is actually on my website, which the website link will be in the description box below. Please feel free to email me and just say that you might be, it's a possibility you will be able to come, or you'd like to come, whatever it is that you want to say. And that gives us a little bit of an idea of numbers before we actually put the conference registration up, whereby people can then book a place at the conference. So expressions of interest would be very helpful to us. Now, that doesn't mean just Australians or people in the Asia Pacific area. You might be from other parts of the world and think you might like to make a trip to Australia, and especially spend some time in Melbourne. Beautiful, beautiful city, Melbourne. My favourite city now is Melbourne. So the expressions of interest will just give us some guidelines. So what your expression of interest will actually be helpful to us, the planners. Now, the other thing I would like to just say is a thanks and special mention to some people that helped and I spoke with while I was in Melbourne these past days. First of all, a big thank you to Rabbi Dr. Shimon Cowan and Mrs. Cowan. They were so gracious and hospitable and kind to me, and I can't thank either of you enough for that. I had a couple of meals with them. We talked about things in relation to the conference, etc. So it really, they were very kind and gracious to me, and I thank you both from my heart deeply. The other interesting thing I want to tell you about is that while at the accommodation I was staying, one of the nights I was in the dining room, went to have my evening meal, sat down, and there were other people there. I didn't take much notice, but anyway, the food was delicious. Shortly after I'd sat down and that, this lady came over to me, just appeared, and she said, looked at me, she said, Chrissy Seaton? And I said, yes. And I looked at this lady's face, I didn't know her. And then she introduced herself and she said that, I'm Ruth Schmerling. And Ruth has been following my YouTube channel. She's a Jewish lady. And she just happened to be there with her husband and one of her children having an evening meal on the table next to me. And just out of the blue, she recognised me from the videos. And it was just, it was so lovely. She was so kind. It was lovely to, what were the chances of that happening? I tell you, unbelievable. But all things are possible through Hashem. And that we had a lovely chat, and it just occurred to me, everything's melding into place. The conference, everything, Hashem is making the pathways very easy to navigate. And I truly enjoyed meeting you, Ruth, and I hope I get to meet you again when the conference is on. It was just so nice. You were very kind, and I appreciate your thoughtfulness, your kindness, and your interest. The other person that I want to give a special shout out to is Miriam Goldschmidt of Gold's Bookstore. And she was very helpful. We had a couple of long chats because I went down nearly every day. I couldn't stay away from this bookshop. Let me tell you, I had to keep going back. It was addictive. And all the staff were extremely helpful, very knowledgeable about the Noahides. They now know about the conference, and they're going to make sure they get the appropriate books and things in on their bookshelves in time for the conference, so that if you want to wander down there, it's a comfortable walk from the venue, then you will be able to secure some of those books specific to Noahides. So thank you very much, Miriam, for that. I appreciate your kindness and thoughtfulness. The other person that I want to also give a special thanks to is Ronald. And Ronald, if you're watching, you'll know who I'm talking about. He was very kind. He travelled an hour and a half to come into Melbourne to meet with Rabbi Cowan and I to help make some plans and to offer some advice and some insight. And I truly appreciate it, and I know Rabbi Cowan appreciated it immensely. So thank you so much, Ronald. I really appreciate your efforts and your kindness. Now, I will, as I said, place links in the description box below, but bear in mind that I will give you updates, as I explained before, as time gets closer. But all I wanted to do was just to give you this exciting news. We've tried to plan one pre-COVID, and of course that didn't happen, obviously. But we're determined, regardless, this is going ahead. And so I just was too excited to keep all this to myself. So I asked Rabbi Cowan if I could just give you all a sneak insight into what's going on. Now, the good thing about it is that where the accommodation is, it's literally next door to the venue where where you'll go each day for the conference. And as I said, we have some after hours things, evening things planned as well. So I want you to send me an expression of interest if you would like more information. And as I said, I'll tell everyone when it becomes available. But at least you know the conference is going ahead, and that we're also looking forward to seeing you people come and visit us in Melbourne and enjoy being with other Noahides at this conference. It's very important to meet people face to face. Looking forward to scooping up all these people sprinkled all over Australia as well. So start saving your pennies. We'll see you all in Melbourne in February 2023. Please take care, and God bless.